Hello again. On behalf of Firefly Ministry and the Decatur, Tennessee Seventh-day Adventist Church, I want to welcome you to this week's preview of our message. We hope that you're having a blessed and a very good week. Tomorrow, Pastor Shelton and Anita will be leaving for a much-needed vacation to visit their son's family in Colorado. Of course, we're going to miss them this week and next Sabbath also. But they really are going to be enjoying some much-needed time off. Now, during his absence, Pastor Shelton has arranged for 2 guest speakers to fill in for him. On Sabbath, July 31st, John Sieska will be our speaker. Now, you may recall that John spoke to us back in June of last year. Then, the title of his message was The Sacrifice of Fools. He spoke about the consequences of false worship that has crept into many churches and the Christian communities today. He concluded his message with an update on religious and political happenings that are pointing to the fulfillment of Bible prophecy and the nearness of our Lord's return. Won't you be sure to join us on the 31st for an enlightening and an inspiring message from John Sieska. But this coming Sabbath, Pastor Bob Self will be delivering our message. Bob is not only a retired pastor, but he now ministers to the Decatur Church as one of our local church elders. Zacchaeus was a wee little man, and a wee little man was he. He climbed up in the sycamore tree, for the Lord he wanted to see. Well, I think that you can understand now why I'm not on the special music list for Sabbath services. But the memories of that song do take our minds back to the New Testament story of Zacchaeus that's found in the 19th chapter of Luke. And that's the story that Pastor Self will use to illustrate a brief but an important encounter with Christ and how that can change everything. Do circumstances in your life sometimes, or maybe all the time, cause you to feel like things are just so tangled up that no one could possibly understand you, much less help or accept you? Or maybe there are things about you that you just don't want anyone to know because they're too terrible. And certainly there's no way that Christ can accept you the way that you are. Life is just so complicated and tangled up. Well, that's the story of Zacchaeus. His story helps us understand how Jesus really sees us, how Jesus can read our hearts like no one else can, and how Jesus can bring peace and calm in an otherwise tangled life. Pastor Self has entitled his message, Untangling Life. He will be using the conversion story of Zacchaeus to illustrate how, when we sincerely desire to see Jesus, that we can break through everything that keeps us from doing that. And however Christ comes to us, He promises to open our hearts so that we can know Him personally. We hope your Sabbath plans include joining us in our sanctuary this week for Pastor Self's message entitled Untangling Life. But if you can't do that, please plan on worshiping with us here on the internet. And until then, have a blessed week.